most of the cows are laying down, so that's a nice thing to see. But there's sticks and bark and chunks of wood all over a couple areas. Look at the size of that thing. If that went through the disc bind, you'd definitely wreck something. Like, it's the things the wind blows in. Oh, did it pop, Albert? And I'm gonna get the cultivator ready because I think we'll be on the land soon. Well, let's see if I got the hoses hooked up right and see if the electronics will work on this.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. As you can see, I'm sitting here in front of my fire, so unfortunately the warm weather outside did not last. We were hoping it was here to stay, but clearly it is not. It's left us feeling anxious to get in the fields. We've been picking rocks, and we had loggers here in the wintertime logging our woods, and unfortunately they left a big mess in the fields. So we've been cleaning that up, and Eddie's been working on the cultivator, anxious to get that in the fields. So we'll show you some of that amidst our regular day-to-day chores. Unfortunately, our family and our community as a whole has been left feeling quite sad and blah after last week, and I'll touch more on that later in the video. But for now, we'll get to the stone picking and I'll bring you along.
So I just got to the barn this morning. It's 5:30, and when I get here, usually there's not too much activity, and most of the cows are laying down, so that's a nice thing to see. When cows are resting, they're making milk, and they're happy. Hey guys, I'm gonna pick some stones this afternoon. It's just after lunch. I got a friend of mine coming over because I had to call in the reinforcements because of what we're dealing with in the hay fields. So this past winter, we had loggers come in and log the bush at the back of the farm here. And they must have been pulling wood out and cutting it in the hay fields. I told the guy it was hay fields, so I figured they wouldn't have done this. But there's sticks and bark and chunks of wood all over a couple areas in a few acres of 2 hay fields. So I'm not that impressed about that. So we're gonna go out this afternoon and try to get that done and get that cleaned up. Well, I'm out here now with the skid steer, and this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, look at that. Look at the size of that thing. If that went through the disc bind, you'd definitely wreck something. Like, it's about 3 feet long and about 3 inches thick, about 1/2 foot wide. So get rid of it. I'm glad we came out when we did. This field's changed a lot from a week ago when I put fertilizer on it. The grass was hardly growing, and as you can see now, the alfalfa's coming through like crazy. Looks really good, but that makes it really hard to find these sticks. You can see there's big chunks in this field too. We finished up in that other field behind the new barn. In this field, all down here, they were cutting wood in, I guess, dragging logs out. I didn't know that. And well, you can see it on the camera there. Pieces. Little stuff like this I'm not too worried about, but bigger stuff like that, that's just some bark. But here, pieces of wood that would do a lot of damage to your disc. So glad we came out when we did. If I didn't spread fertilizer out here, I wouldn't have seen that, and I probably wouldn't have checked the field till middle of May, and I would have never saw any of this. The grass would be, the alfalfa would be probably a couple feet high by then, and you'd only see this once it starts going through the disc bind, which would have been a disaster. Well, we got 1 bucket full, and I'm guessing we're going to get 1 more bucket. There's Albert. Just going to dump it because we got to go a little farther in the field. I don't want to go in and out too often because it's actually not overly dry, but I gotta get this done before grass grows anymore. But look at that. This is first year established grass. It was peas and oats last year. Now it's alfalfa and grass. Looks pretty good. You just never know what you're gonna find when you're out here. The things the wind blows in. Oh, did it pop, Albert? Oh, it wasn't popped when you found it, eh? Okay. Albert found a big number 5. Somebody must have been having a birthday. And then it popped when he grabbed it, but it wasn't popped when he saw it there in the bush. We just got in the heifer barn this morning, came to push feed in, and most of the heifers are laying down. I'll quick get a shot of that before they start standing up. So even though heifers aren't making milk, it's still nice to see them laying down and resting. That means they're comfortable. And we bed the heifers with sand also. Now they have mats underneath them, but I put sand on top of them, and I find it keeps the stalls a lot drier than with straw. It's about 5 degrees out, and I'm gonna get the cultivator ready because I think we'll be on the land soon. I don't think this week, but maybe next week if it warms up and dries up more. So we'll get the cultivator ready. I gotta get this hammer mill off of the tractor. I was using it this morning to grind corn, and see how it goes. So I got the cultivator hooked up. Always takes a while to figure out the hoses and the electronics on this thing. I got these sensors up here that we're supposed to cover to protect them for the winter. So I taped these plastic bags over them. It keeps the condensation and the moisture out of them, because the first year we bought this cultivator, we didn't cover those sensors and we had issues in the spring. We had to get John Deere to come out and they had to clean them up somehow. I don't remember what all happened, but anyways, they said we got to cover them. Since our cultivator sits outside, we don't have a shed with a door big enough to fit this cultivator in. So I'll pull these pieces of plastic off. I think there's 4 sensors, 2 up on the wings and 2 down on the ground. let's see if I got the hoses hooked up right and see if the electronics will work on this. Looks like we're good to go. I gotta pull it ahead, unhook the packer, and then we'll pull the cultivator up in the yard, and then I can work on it. I don't have enough room for the packer and the cultivator, and I don't need the packer quite yet. We got this John Deere cultivator about 7 years ago. We had a, well, I think it was an old white or case cultivator. Had it for my dad and my uncles bought it probably 30 years ago. It got used for about 25 years. It was a really good cultivator. I think it was maybe a 24 foot or a 26. And this one is 36. And then we got a 38 foot packer over there, and we really, really like it. It's a little bit big for us for what we're doing, but my uncle pushed to get a big cultivator back in the day when, 30 years ago when they got that other one. It was a big, really big cultivator for that time. And then it just lasted a long time. They had it for, 25 years, and it was probably too big when they first bought it, but by the time it was sold, it went over quite a few acres, and there was a lot more land that they bought, and it was a really good cultivator. So we plan to do the same with this one. So yeah, it's quite a bit of a machine, but me and my two brothers plan on being able to use it for, the next 20 or 25 years. So that's the way we kind of see the payback on this one. And then when we have our own cultivator, we can till the land when we want. So we're gonna change some teeth on this cultivator. You can see some of these teeth are wore right down. If you look at that one, there's almost nothing left of it. And this one was replaced last year, so it's still pretty good. But I got some like this. There's a bunch on this wing. So I don't think I have quite enough teeth. I might have to go to John Deere to get some more, but I got some in the back of my truck, and after lunch I'll start putting them on. So I got this bar that these teeth are on, the back of the cultivator, and I got a bent one here. And I believe it was for me a few years ago. I hit a fence post, but I should be able to take that section off if I take these two bolts out, and then here, and then I'm gonna take it to a guy and get that straightened, and then I'll put it back on. I'll get him to prime it and paint it too. That way it doesn't rust any more than it has. So we'll get that off. I need about 15 more of these teeth, so I gotta go to John Deere and get those. And there's one other thing I need. Oh, I have one of these hoops or these arms that the teeth are on. One of them came off last year, so I gotta get a few bolts to get that thing put back on. So I've got these harrows picked back up, and the guy that straightened them got it nice and straight. So we'll see how that goes back on. Sometimes when things bend and then you take the bolts out, straighten it out, it can be tough to get everything to line up again. So we'll see how this goes.
So we've had a pretty sad week here. We lost one of our close friends. It was really sudden and the whole community is just kind of shaken. He was a really big, full of life kind of a guy. Always laughing, always kind. Just a real nice guy. He worked on a dairy farm. He loved John Deere. He loved the Toronto Maple Leafs. He loved Bud Light, and he's going to be well missed. Today we are having a tractor convoy for him. His wife and kids have organized this tractor convoy that's going around the country block here and ending at our community center for a celebration of life. And I'm just going to show you guys some of that. And Eddie's cleaning up his tractor here to be in the tractor convoy. We're both going to be in there for Jimmy, and I don't know, I expect there's going to be tons of tractors in this convoy, including his wife's going to be, well, he's going to be in the front of it in the hearse, and his wife is going to be right behind him leading the way. So Jim would come over probably once a month or once every other month to have a drink with Eddie in the evenings, and we always joked that he was not allowed in the house because his laugh was just too loud and would wake the kids up. So they always met in the barn, and you know, if I was in the house I might have piles of laundry to fold, so I often just said, you know, I'll come out next time. Sometimes I went out, but I just, looking back now, I wish I just set the laundry aside or set the thing aside and just went out to the barn and spent that time with him. So if you have something similar, like maybe just take the time, go spend it with that person. You never know when it's going to be the last time. We're just leaving home, heading over to Mark's, and then line up for the convoy.
Never made it as a wise man, I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man, I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for handing you a heart worth breaking. And I've been wrong, I've been down, been to the bottom of every bottle. These five words in my head scream Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story.
Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for supporting Dairy. We hope to see you next time.